So Joe Rogan just reacted to the Charlie Kirk case, and bro, I genuinely was not ready for what he said. Because here's the thing, everyone thought this case was done, locked up. Tyler Robinson did it, the evidence was overwhelming, the confession happened, case closed. But then this new filing dropped yesterday, and it has flipped everything on its head. And when Rogan heard about it, his reaction said everything. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to see this case completely differently. And I promise you, this is not just another courtroom update. This is the detail that changes everything. Let's go back to September 10th, 2025 real quick, because you need the full picture to understand why yesterday's news hit so hard. Charlie Kirk is at Utah Valley University. Outdoor event, 3,000 people, he's on stage doing what he does. And then a single shot rings out from a rooftop roughly 140 yards away. One bullet, straight to the neck. Kirk is gone before he even hits the ground. Within 24 hours, the internet is going absolutely insane. FBI release suspect images. People start piecing it together. And then the next day, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old from Washington, Utah, just walks into his local sheriff's office and surrenders, just like that, turns himself in. And what comes out after that feels like the most airtight case you've ever seen in your life. Robinson allegedly confessed to his own father. His father recognized the rifle in police images, a family heirloom, a Mauser Model 98 that Robinson's grandfather had gifted him. There are text messages where Robinson is talking about retrieving the weapon from a drop point, worrying about fingerprints, telling his roommate to delete their messages. At one point, he allegedly writes, "If I can grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence." Bro, that's not exactly the language of an innocent man. So the whole world looks at this and goes, yeah, it's him. Open and shut, lock him up, throw away the key. Even Trump weighed in, saying he hoped Robinson gets the death penalty. That's how certain everyone was. And then, yesterday happened. Robinson's defense attorneys filed a motion, and buried inside that motion is a single line that has sent shockwaves through the legal community, through the media, through the internet, everywhere. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF, conducted a forensic analysis of the bullet recovered from Charlie Kirk's autopsy. And their conclusion? They were unable to identify that bullet as having been fired from the Mauser Model 98 rifle allegedly tied to Tyler Robinson. Read that again. The bullet that killed Charlie Kirk cannot be matched to the gun they say Robinson used to kill him.
Exclusive update in the Charlie Kirk murder case. You're not going to believe this. According to the Daily Mail, TMZ, and others, the bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, according to new court filings. An analysis from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives could not conclusively connect a bullet fragment recovered during an autopsy to the rifle found near the scene in the murder of Charlie Kirk. This completely changes this case, and now the lawyers for Tyler Robinson are asking for a delay in his preliminary hearing that was coming up. Robinson's defense team also says forensic reports also indicate multiple people's DNA on several items within the evidence. Now they're saying the FBI is doing more analysis on the bullet fragments, but guys, if this bullet doesn't match the gun they're saying Tyler Robinson used, the gun we've all seen, then he's not the shooter. And that means we've got a killer on the loose out there, and they don't know who it is. Guys, this blows this thing out of the water, and I think it gets Tyler Robinson out of jail, and that's what his defense team is trying to do. They want to delay to try and get him out of jail and out of this during his preliminary hearing. And this evidence should do that. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
That is not a minor detail. That is not a technicality. In a capital murder case, where this man is literally facing the death penalty, the ballistic link between the weapon and the victim is everything. It's the spine of the entire prosecution. You're telling a jury that this man used this specific rifle to fire this specific bullet that ended this specific life. If you can't prove that chain, the whole thing wobbles. Now this is where it gets even more interesting, because the internet did not wait around for the lawyers to figure this out. Within hours of the filing dropping, Twitter and Reddit went into full detective mode. And look, some of it is wild conspiracy territory. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. People are out here saying this proves Robinson was framed, that there was a second shooter, that the whole thing was a setup. That kind of talk has been floating around since day one, honestly. Every time a new detail drops, the conspiracy crowd runs with it, and this filing gave them the most fuel they've had yet. But then there's a more measured conversation happening alongside that. Former prosecutors, legal analysts, people who actually know what they're talking about, and they're saying something different. They're not saying Robinson is innocent. isn't. What they're saying is that this creates reasonable doubt. And in a criminal trial, reasonable doubt is everything. The prosecution doesn't just need to make a convincing argument. They need to prove guilt beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. That's the standard. And right now they have a hole in their case the size of a bus. One legal commentator, a former prosecutor, broke it down really simply and it stuck with me. He said, imagine you're on that jury. You've heard the confession. You've seen the text. You've heard about the 3-hour drive. And then the defense stands up and says, ladies and gentlemen, the federal government's own forensic analyst could not confirm that the bullet which killed Charlie Kirk was fired from the defendant's rifle. How do you vote guilty beyond every reasonable doubt after hearing that? How? That's the question nobody has a clean answer to right now.
Referenced by KSL.com as well as ABC4 in Utah. I have not been able to find the actual motion. It's a motion to continue the preliminary hearing in May. It's essentially, it's like a probable cause hearing. We have them in Massachusetts, but we don't actually hold them. It's a whole thing. They just go from district court through the grand jury and get indicted. And what they say is basically they're being inundated with discovery. There's like tens of thousands of documents of discovery, and there's only a couple of lawyers, and it's going to take them hundreds of hours to go through it to be able to actually present a defense for Mr. Robinson. So they want it pushed. But they also specifically reference the firearm evidence. And there's an initial report. If that's accurate, if there is an initial report from the ATF that indicates that the bullet didn't match the gun, well, what are we doing here, folks? I look forward to hearing the other side.
And it doesn't stop at the bullet, because the same filing also revealed something else that has flown under the radar a little bit. The DNA evidence. Multiple DNA profiles were found on key pieces of evidence. Not just Robinson's DNA, multiple contributors. The defense says this is going to require expert analysis across multiple scientific disciplines to even begin to interpret properly. That adds another layer of complexity on top of an already complicated picture. Then you've got the sheer volume of discovery. Prosecutors handed over around 20,000 electronic files. We're talking 61,500 pages of documents, 31 hours of audio recordings, and over 700 hours of video footage across more than 5,000 separate clips. The defense is saying they haven't even been able to get through the first pass yet. They're asking for a 6-month delay to the preliminary hearing just to process what they've been given. And they're also flagging that some of the forensic case files they actually need to mount a proper defense haven't even been handed over yet. So the case that looked simple, it is anything but. Now back to Rogan, because his take on all of this is what really crystallized it for me. Rogan has been pretty vocal about political violence in America since the assassination happened. He's talked about the broader climate, the radicalization angle, what it means for the country when political figures start getting shot. And when this bullet bombshell dropped, his reaction was basically, yeah, I knew something felt off about this. And that's the thing, right? A lot of people felt that way from the beginning. The case moved so fast. The surrender happened so quickly. The narrative got so locked in so early that anyone who raised a question got shouted down. But Rogan's point, and it's a valid one, is that the speed at which the public made up their mind about this doesn't change what the evidence actually shows, or in this case, what it doesn't show. Because here's where we're at right now. You have a man facing the death penalty. You have a confession, but confessions get challenged. You have text messages, but context matters, and defense lawyers are very good at reframing context. You have a rifle connected to the suspect, but you cannot forensically link that rifle to the bullet that did the killing. You have DNA on the evidence, but multiple contributors, not just one. You have motive, you have timeline, you have witnesses, but none of that matters if the physical evidence at the core of the case is compromised. The preliminary hearing is currently scheduled for May 18th. The next court date is April 17th, where they'll be debating whether cameras are even allowed in the courtroom. Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, has publicly pushed for full transparency and cameras in there. The defense has pushed back, saying the pretrial publicity has already made finding an impartial jury nearly impossible. They've even flagged that the commentary has reached as far as the White House as evidence of how poisoned the atmosphere already is. This case is nowhere near over, and what felt like the most obvious outcome in the world 6 months ago is now anything but. The bullet doesn't match the gun. The DNA is complicated. The discovery is massive, and somewhere in all of that 700 hours of video and 61,500 pages of documents, there could be more details we don't know about yet. Joe Rogan said it best. People decided what happened here before the evidence was ever tested, and now the evidence is being tested, and it is not holding up the way everyone said it would. Whether Tyler Robinson is guilty or not, that is for a jury to decide. But right now, the prosecution has a problem. A very serious, very public, very hard to explain problem. And this story is just getting started. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.